Morning, everyone. This past Sunday, we started exploring The Walk by Adam Hamilton, and we explored how worship in the community is such an important, integral part of who we are, the opportunity to give our thanks to God. But along with that, he helped us understand that our worship is more than just that 1 hour or hour and a half on Sunday morning that we gather. It's really an opportunity community-wise. In our personal life, when we're alone with God, there's still opportunities that we should be offering worship through our prayer. And as I was thinking about that, I've been exploring and beginning to understand better about those moments of solitude, of quiet, alone with God, free from distractions. And I was drawn to this passage in Exodus 33. Now, if you remember Exodus, we've got a lot going on. The Israelites are wandering through the wilderness. Moses is having one heck of a time trying to keep them focused on God as their sole provider and leader. And just previously in Exodus 32, we read about the golden calf and the struggles that they have in worshiping idols over the Lord while Moses is gone. The void there is filled by a desire for something. And we get to Exodus 33, and now they're wrestling through the ramifications of what has happened. God has called them a stiff-necked people. But down in verse 7, it talks about how Moses used to set up this tent away from the camp. And that alone should give us an indication of how important it is to get free of any distractions to spend time with God. You know, when they were looking to meet with God, they had to get away from the hustle and bustle of the camp. Moses went in by himself, and they would wait till he would come out. But that was how they found God. They got away from it. They removed themselves from all that noise around them. And I think it's so easy. We talk about it all the time, the importance of getting away from the noise and spending time with God. And, it sort of sounds like a broken record. But it's so important to not forget how easy it is to be consumed by noise that we miss God when he's trying to draw us into a quiet place. One of the Psalms that we know the best, Psalm 23, it talks about how he leads us in those green pastures and he makes us lie down beside still waters. Have you ever sat and looked at a pond, like really early in the morning, when the sun's coming up, maybe there's still a little fog just settled over top of the water, and it's just so still. Like it looks like a piece of glass just sitting there, and there's just something so calming about looking at it for just extended periods of time. That's the kind of calm, quiet place I think God wants to meet us. It can be uncomfortable. We're often very uncomfortable with quietness. We often try to fill that void with noise of some kind because it's easier. It's more familiar to us. So we find ourselves, even as it's frustrating or even as it's annoying or even as it's overwhelming, we still seem to prefer that over the quiet. But when we spend time in prayer, just alone with God in our personal, private worship with him, the quiet is the best place to meet with him. And a lot of times what I like to do is tell folks, you don't even have to talk. The desire is to get to this intimate relationship with God that is so powerfully connected to him, that all we have to do is just sit and be together. That's one of the cool things about some of the friendships I have is sometimes we just don't even talk. We can just hang out by sitting together. And it doesn't mean we're not connecting, but we recognize we don't have to fill the void. Because just by being together, that relationship is continuing to build upon itself. It is that intimate of friendship that we can just sit together. I want to encourage you to pitch a tent outside the camp of life sometime this week. We've talked about being encouraged to not only worship together, but pray 5 times a day. 5 times a day. Out of those 5 times, I want to encourage you to take one of them, whichever one it is for you, whether it's waking up in the morning, one of the meal times, or before you go to bed, and just go and find a tent outside of the camp of your life where you can just be alone in the presence of God. Ask him to fill all that space that you are in and meet with him there. And then I encourage the youth to do this. I want to encourage you to do the same, maybe if you're willing. Just have a piece of paper handy and a pen or a pencil, whatever you need. And don't force anything. Don't write something down if it doesn't come to you. But in those quiet moments, if there's a word or a phrase or something that comes to you, an image that God offers to you in those moments, write it down. Because oftentimes what I find is even those small images, sometimes they don't mean a whole lot in the moment. But as time goes on, God begins to reveal more of that as I spend more time with him in those moments of silent prayer. And suddenly the picture becomes clearer because I've eliminated the noise and I've allowed him to speak more and more into what I need to hear in my life. Hope you guys have a great week. I look forward to seeing you very soon. Bye-bye.